All right, so surface temperatures are 62. So I'm not sure where the kokanee are gonna be. I'm gonna fire up my Fishhawk TD and drop it down. See if we can sort out where the kokanee are gonna be. I'm not marking anything. I've seen some fish bust the surface here, but I think they're mostly smallmouth bass. I don't think they're kokanee. Okay, what does the Fishhawk tell us? The surface is around 63, which I knew. 5 feet, 63. 10 feet, 63. 15 feet, 63. 20 feet is 61. 25 feet is 59. 30 feet is 58, so that's in the range. And 35 feet is 53. So they're probably going to be between, I'm guessing, they should be between 25, where it's, well, 30 feet is 58, and 35 is 53. So I'm going to guess they're going to be right around 30 feet. I haven't marked any at 30 yet, but if we do, I expect them to be there. They could be feeding just above that too. Okay, so we expect them to be around 25, 30 feet, maybe a little deeper. So I'm going to use my depth table here. I'm going to start with 2 ounces and clip in, and then probably let out 100 feet. That's going to put me in the 100, 110 feet after I clip in. It's going to put me right in that 27 to 29 foot. And as I turn, I should drop into it. I'd like to be above them just a little bit. Okay, today I'm out chasing kokanee, and today we're going to be doing an experiment. I often get asked, like, what's a better way to target big kokanee? Is it better to run big gear or smaller gear and just work through the numbers? So we're going to test that today. Today I have one of the largest dodgers I have for kokanee, which is a chub dodger here. And behind that I'm running a full-size mini cut plug. This isn't a kokanee cut plug. This is a full-size mini cut plug. So pretty massive lure for kokanee. And we're going to run this, and we're going to compare that against a very petite setup, which is a very small Dick Knight Dodger, pink and nickel. And behind that, a really small silver and pink spinner from Silver Slayers. This thing's got a tiny little blade on it, just some little beads. Oop, there's my first mark right there at 30 feet. All right, so now we know we're in business. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get these deployed. We're gonna run them identical depths. I'm gonna let out 30, put in a 2-ounce weight, and then I'm gonna let out about 100, so I'll be about 130 back. That should put me right in the 25 to 29 foot range, and then on turns I'll be deeper. So this is going to be a best out of 10 fish challenge. So it's going to be the petite rig versus the robust rig, the large rig. I'll clip one of the fins on the big rig, so that at the end of the day we can look and see if there was a bigger average size. But we're also going to look at number of bites and number of fish overall caught on each setup, and just see what that does. Ooh, there's fish. On the smaller setup, that was a good run when it first hit. Fighting like kokanee. Had something like that. See my weight. That's a kokanee. Alright, first kokanee of the day is on the little setup. Get away from the boat. There we go. That's a nice sized fish. Probably 13, 14. Not too shabby. Okay, little one gets first fish of the day. Oop, there's one on the big setup. he's just swimming up with it. That's a nice size kokanee. Alright. That's definitely bigger than the one that I just got on the smaller setup. Alright. Well, the big setup catches fish. And so far it's definitely bigger. That thing is, that's a nice fish. I'm running these at basically the same depth, but I'm using a different amount of lead to get them down there because this rod here is the Eagle Claw Featherlight Pro. That's the classic. The classic can handle like 2 to 3 ounces. This can handle 4 ounces easy. So yeah, this one with 4 ounces at 70 feet of line out, I'm at 29 feet. With this one with 2 ounces with 110 feet out, I'm around 27, 28 feet. So they're basically at the same depth. And that's what's nice about my little depth tables here is that, you know, if you have one rod that can only handle like, 1 or 2 or 3 ounces like this Featherlight Classic can, then you can use those lighter weights to get to the same depths and be confident that even though you're fishing different weights, you're still at that same depth, which is really nice. Oop, that was a bite. You see that? Just got tapped. Let's try stopping. Slowing down. Let it fall. There, got him. Yeah, I got him. That was great. You can do that sometimes, just drift it back in the front of their face. I don't think he's still there. Oh no, we'll see. Could be swimming with it. Either way, it's another bite for the small rig. Nope, he's not there. Lost him. Dang it. Well, that's okay. It was a cool example to show how you can do that sometimes. Just doesn't always mean you're going to get them in the boat, but I gave it my best shot. That's 2 bites for the little rig. 1 landed. And just 1 bite, 1 landed on the big rig. I think I'll do a bait switch here in about 10 minutes. Just try a different scent on both of them. See if that changes our outcomes. Hasn't been red hot, but hadn't been dead either. Oh yeah, that's bloody tuna. Ooh, stuff is potent. Potent. What I am going to do is use this opportunity to do a bait switch. I'm going to switch up to bloody tuna. It might be just that date. I haven't had a kokanee bite here for about 30 minutes, so just want to try bloody tuna for a bit on both rods. I don't have anything inside the mini cut plug. It's just an empty shell. It's just there as an attractor lure. I usually don't load it up with tuna and do all that stuff that I would do for king salmon because I've never really noticed the difference when I've run it packed and when I've run it unpacked. So for some reason I'm only getting the kokanee around this debris field where there's all this vegetation. Just like clockwork, as soon as I get into the thick of it, there's fish on the graph. Alright, we'll get the little rig switched out to the bloody tuna. Alright, let's give bloody tuna an hour. If we don't get anything on it, then we'll just go back to the anise shrimp. Ooh, there's fish. That was on the big rig. This feels like a nice fish. I used to fish these mini cut plugs quite a bit at Merwin, especially late season, before the kokanee cut plugs came out, and they did very well for me. Looks pretty shiny, like a kokanee. I can get that chub up on the surface, I can skate him in. There we go. I can skate him in like that. That works so well. Yeah, it's a nice fish. Come here. It's wrapped around his gill plate and then back around his head. Nice. Alright. Second fish for the big rig. Not as big as that last one we got, but still decent. Cut this anal fin there. so that I know which is which. I'm gonna bleed them out. Yes, I bleed them out. No, I don't do it on camera. I don't want to get red flagged by animal rights folks. All I usually do is pop the gill and then just hold their head underwater for a few seconds. Let it drain out. I don't really think it adds anything to the video. Me popping gills out of a fish's head. Oop, there's one on the little rig. Nice. This smaller rig, you know, it has a much tighter side-to-side action on that Dodger than that chub does. That chub has a much wider wobble. Woo! It's a lighter rod, so it, of course, feels like a bigger fish, but it's already on the surface back there, so it's got to be a kokanee. Haven't even got the snap weight off. Oop, I got a double going. Alright, that's great. I think switching the bloody tuna made a big difference. Okay, that's one in the boat. Bleed him later. Try and get this one in the boat too. Man, that's a tank. Alright, got him. Awesome. I have a pretty long setback now, so I keep getting one in the mouth and then one here in the belly or the back of the head because I have a pretty wide gap on those hooks. Well, we are 3 for 3 on the mega rig, and we are 2 for 3 on the petite rig. Oop, oop. Yeah, there's one. Nice. Aww. I felt that weight release. Yeah, I felt them head shake, go for a run, and then boop. No more weight. Yeah, that felt like a nice fish too. Oh well. Should recheck the bait, but I'm glad I seemed to. Oop, no, he was just swimming with it the whole time. Now he's off. I didn't even think I had him. I just reeled him in. He was just swimming. That's funny. Well, that was my mistake. He was just swimming with it. That's why there was no weight there. Oop, there's fish. Nice. That's on the big rig. This is a nice fish on the cut plug. That's a nice fish. Beautiful. Cool. That's 4 for 4 on big size rig. That's a beautiful fish. Nice mark right here at 30. Should go right across that guy's nose, or a foot or two above it. Ooh, there he is. Got him. Nice. It's on the small rig. Oh, yeah. Score another fish for the little rig. Alright, that's 3 for 5 on the little rig. And we're 4 for 4 on the big one. Alright, let's do our bait refresh on this one. Oop, I just refreshed that bait. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? That's on the big rig. Hey, don't do that now. You were so chill before. Jesus. Guy put up no fight on the way up. Now he's like going crazy. Alright, that's fish number 5 on the chub rig. 5 for 5. That's a good landing ratio. I'm gonna put fresh bait on that one in a minute, because as soon as I put fresh bait on this one, it totally got whacked. There's a fish at 38. I'm gonna slow way down, see if I can get that one down to him. This one's running. Oh, there he is. Oh, he was there. He bit it, but he didn't stick. That's a bummer. Still marking fish, just not getting bit as frequently. Oh, never mind. One on the big rig. Complain and ye shall be rewarded. Got him. Nice. That's fish number 6. It's 6 for 6 on the big rig. This will be a good time to switch out the cameras and take a pee break. One more fish to go. Alright, we got a fresh battery in there. 3 hours left on the SD card. We need one more fish to complete the challenge. Okay, here we go. Oh, that one was just 30 feet back there. I saw a fish come up off the bottom. I was like, what the heck's going on? I just had it hanging straight down 40 feet, just like a few feet off the bottom, and I started to speed up and I saw a mark come up off the bottom, and then this rod just lit up on the small rig. That is crazy. Basically, I just started to troll with it. He followed that thing up. He's like, wait a minute, I want to eat that. That is gonna be one of the weirdest kokanee catches I've ever had. Stopped to take a pee, left my snap weight like 5 feet down, so 35 feet hanging down and 45 feet of water. Kokanee saw that was along the bottom. Oh, I got one there. And that other, I'm sure this kokanee brought this fish up to the top here. Maybe this one's off, I think. Yeah. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen happen. I mean, that thing was just hanging straight down. I looked down and I saw this like whoop mark on the fish finder, and I was like, that looks like a fish coming up to look at my gear. I was like, but what gear could he be looking at? This is what he's after. Well, that's one way to end the day. What a craziness. I actually caught a sockeye at Baker Lake doing the same thing. I came to a stop because I got cut off. And when I sat, I stopped and I just started to get going again. I hooked a fish. 4 fish for the petite rig, and so 4 out of 6 and 6 out of 6. So basically the same number of bites. Really didn't make a difference. That surprised me. I kind of thought the smaller rig would get a little more action. All right, so now what we need to do is get back to the boat launch and look at the overall size, the average size for each one. I'm gonna be really curious to see how that pans out. But like I said, we got equal numbers of bites on both of them. So 6 bites on the small little Dick Knight with the silver slayers. I don't know the specific name of this lure, I apologize. There's so many lures I can't memorize all the names. I'll put links to it below. It's just a little tiny micro pink spinner with tiny bit of moon jelly on that pink blade and some small beads. It's very, very petite lure. And then over here we had the Chub Dodger. I'll put the name, I can't remember the names of all these things. It gets crazy. The Chub Dodger and a mini cut plug. This is not the Kokanee cut plug. This is just the mini cut plug. So the Kokanee cut plug's a little bit smaller than that. And I'm running that about 18 inches behind this Chub Dodger. This Chub Dodger is about the only Dodger I know that has enough mass to run a full mini cut plug behind it, and it doesn't affect the Dodger action at all. This thing is such a hard wobble on it. It has so much mass it can kick a big lure like this side to side. right, let's get back to the launch. I have a ruler board in my car, and we'll measure the length of all the catch and get the average length and range. Okay, so here's the catch. We got 6 on the Chubb mini cut plug. There's the 6 here. You can tell because I cut the ventral fins, I should say, not anal fin. Anal fin's back here. But yeah, so we're gonna measure these. Here's the 4 I got on the Little Dick Knight and spinner. All right, so I got my calculator over here. I'll do this one first. So that's 13 and 13.5 on the first one. Okay, 3.5 plus. And then we'll do the next one. That was 13.75. Next is this one, which is, that's also, that one's close to 14. Yeah, that's a 14er. That's 14 and 14.75. 14.75 equals this divided by 4. Average size was 14 on the money for the really small petite rig. All right, let's look at the big rig and see what it caught. First fish here. I'm gonna get these things on ice soon because it's warm out. We're at 13.5 on the big first fish for the big rig. I'm gonna start putting them on ice. Okay. Here's this one. That's a big boy. That is 15 and right 15 on the money. Gonna need to wash the old iPhone after this video. And we got a little dink, 13.25. We're at 14.25. 13.75. All right, and the last fish of the day, number 6, is 13.75. Well, let's look at that again, let it relax. Yeah, that's a 14, just barely. Okay, so a moment of truth equals that divided by 6 equals 13.95. So basically the same. I mean, it's just very shy of 14. So no, even in an age diverse fishery, you still get the same size kokanee on big lures as little lures. I got the same number of bites on them, 6 bites, 6 bites. I just landed all 6 on this rig and lost 2 on that one. That's the only difference. All right, that does it for me, guys. I'm gonna head home, clean these fish up. I'm glad I got off the water. The wind's just starting to kick up now with a nice limit of kokanee. Do these results surprise you, or is it kind of what you expected? Does it give you more confidence in big rigs or more confidence in the little rigs that you run? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll put links to everything I used today. And just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye, guys.